There's a little bit of a dance right now happening as these tariffs have been threatened by the president-elect. Your reaction?
Well, she's relatively new. Chairman Michael McCall and I went down with him to Mexico on Codell back in February, and we actually met with her and her opponent. They had two women running for president, going to make history in Mexico's first woman president. And so she's kind of changed her tune since then. She seemed very willing to help back then. Of course, now she's in office. She's probably getting pressure from her left, probably getting pressure from her people, and she's trying to, I guess, start to waffle a little bit. I'm a little bit concerned about that.
You are? Okay, yeah, because, I mean, certainly when she says that, we're going to respect human rights, I mean, the whole reason that we have had a change in leadership in this country, the two biggest things, the economy and immigration, both of those stories are tied to this tariff threat. Both of these stories are completely tied to Mexico. As far as the border, there's another story that is emerging this week. Some oil executives and lobbyists are now urging President-elect Trump to strike a deal with Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. More oil, we buy from them, fewer migrants, and maybe we get to send back some of these criminal gangs back to Venezuela. The Journal reporting that, quote, Maduro himself has floated a reset with Washington in his first government. Things didn't go well for us with President-elect Donald Trump. He said in a recent televised address, this is a new start. Let's bet on a win-win. So obviously, President Trump has big plans for American energy. He wants to make us energy dominant again by reportedly planning to revive Keystone XL, expand domestic drilling, resume liquid LNG exports, in particular to Europe, roll back a lot of these green policies. All of that is the energy story. All of that goes back to Texas. Your reaction?
Well, Cheryl, Keystone Pipeline would have come into my district. I'm the upper Gulf Coast of Texas. We have 7 ports, more than any other member of Congress. We produce 65% of the nation's jet fuel, 80% of the nation's military-grade fuel. I can go right down the line. I want to go back to something that the president of Mexico said about human rights. Yeah, we believe in human rights, too, but our number one priority is to protect Americans. And, of course, for me, our number one priority is to protect Texans. Texans, we can produce energy cheap. Cheryl, here's a comparison. Keystone Pipeline moves 830,000 barrels of oil a day. If you tried to do that with 18-wheelers, you'd have to put 5,200 18-wheeler trucks on the highway a day to move that much oil. Texas has the ability, United States has the ability to sell energy, to export energy, to produce energy, if we can get the government out of the way. And that's what Trump is aiming at.
Yeah. Also, too, just really quick, my one fear about, I called it a deal with the devil at the top of the show with Maduro. This man is ruthless. He is a murderer, and he has retained power, his grip on power, which many in Washington say was not a true election. It was an illegal election. So right. What do you make of us? I mean, what do you think this relationship with Maduro should or could be, considering that the Venezuelan migrants that we now have in this country are causing havoc in this country?
Well, absolutely. We don't want to make a deal with the devil. And look, those Venezuelan migrants, those gangs that you're hearing about and talking about, they are some of the most ruthless. You can't trust Maduro. When somebody shows you who they are up front, believe them. He's a dictator. He's a ruthless dictator. He can't be trusted. I recognize our oil companies and our executives, they want the ability to be able to produce more oil, sell more oil. I get that. But there's an old saying, you don't want to dance with the devil. And I'm afraid that that's exactly what we'd be doing.
All right. Congressman Randy Weber, thank you for joining us today. It's always great to speak with you about what is happening at our southern border. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Cheryl.